Hello and welcome to Cocktail Hour. We are so happy to be here. It is November 26th, 2022, and this is show 172, apparently. Woohoo! Boy, I tell you, it's amazing. Amazing. So, as you see, the gang's all here. We're really happy about that. Do we have any housekeeping?
We started up a new book group on literal.club. It's a Goodreads alternative that is not owned by a corporation. It's just kind of starting out, so there's plenty of room for growth, but it's a nice place. Everybody that I've met there has been pretty nice. So I will post a copy of I'll post the URL in this happy chat area here. Boom. So what the plan is to announce our books ahead of time and then get together and chat about them. Right now the club is private, but we can open it up in the future. So you should just be able to go to that link and click join club. And there you go.
Nice.
Should be fun. Yes. So I'm hoping it'll be fun. Be fun.
Sounds easy to do too.
It is.
It's complicated. I like that.
No complications. We're all easy. We're all easy.
All right, cool. So I hope to see you guys there. Yeah. So let's get down to the drinking or whatever we're doing. Let's start with Colette.
Oh, I'm having the same thing that I had last time because I bought a giant bottle of that blackberry mixer, and it's a lifetime supply. So I will be drinking it for quite some time.
I guess so.
Yeah,
All right, then.
that and Saint Germain and Prosecco and lemon juice.
I remember it sounded delicious.
It did sound delicious.
So how many is this? Is this your first one?
For today?
Yes.
Yeah.
What you're asking me? Well, I had a little bit of flat Prosecco still in the fridge, so I kind of grudgingly finished that off so that I can open a fresh bottle of something sparkling. And so
right.
1.5.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy the first half, so
it was what you couldn't even call it a palate cleanser at that point.
It shouldn't count.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I really contemplated not finishing it, but it's like when you've paid money for a thing, you just can't bring yourself to oh, this is spoiled, but I spent good money on so
But I'm gonna drink it all
and cry myself to sleep.
So Cheri, what you drinking?
I am having a delicious homemade tapache from my delicious batch from the 17th. Yeah. So I put up 11 more bottles today, sitting in the closet back there for a couple of days. Then they'll go in the fridge. So good.
Must be. Holy cat, 17
bottles. Yeah, it's good.
Well, what?
Wow.
What?
We're having some beautiful girls.
I just saw those.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So we're going to go ahead and block that person.
Yeah, I think those were links to videos.
Porn sites?
Right?
Yeah,
yes.
I think that. Yeah, I think it's.
Oh boy.
But we'll just assume that they were calling us beautiful, and we'll block them and we'll move on.
Thank you.
Bye.
So nice. Thank you. Oh. All right then. So there was something else I wanted to bring up for the housekeeping. Then we'll get to your drink, Andy.
Okay.
I have been uploading old episodes. So we have now from episode 1 through episode 75.
Wow.
Of old shows uploaded.
Wow.
And then I just got tired of doing it.
Yeah.
So we'll do more. I'll continue to do more.
Thank you for that effort.
Yeah.
Very appreciated.
Yeah. So right now I'm only uploading the cocktail hour episodes,
Okay.
not the flicks and swizzle sticks or the bar rags. Eventually, I think when I'm done with all of the cocktail
Main
hours,
shows? Yeah.
I think I'm going to do all of the last calls with Colette
Yay.
Moody, because those, I imagine they're still pretty accurate, because we were in a horrible political time then. We're in a
And
horrible
here we
political
are.
time now. So it
So
just doesn't
different.
change. Yeah. So yeah, that's my plan, is to get those up there, because they're some of my favorites of
Excellent.
all things. And if you want to start doing more of those, Colette, it's all for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
Andy.
really screaming into a microphone for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I know, but that can be cathartic, right? And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it just and you're screaming for all of us,
Mhm,
That's right. That's
all
right.
of us sane people.
mhm.
Andy, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking caffeine-free Diet Pepsi.
Wow, that sounds gross.
Nah. But I'm drinking it because instead of having alcohol today, I'm doing some gummy action.
So that should be fun. How long ago did you consume your gummy?
2 of them at 2:45 and one about 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Is that how that works?
No, that's how I work it.
That's
I was going to say, I didn't realize that you had to like
No,
space multiple doses out closely like that.
no. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
No, two is the dosage. If I do it, it's what I 2 of them usually. And you take them about an hour before you want it to get in your system, because you have to go through digestion.
Sure.
So I thought since I did it at 2:45, I thought, let me kind of top it off with another one, just
There you
see
go.
how it goes.
Yes.
So you may just become completely catatonic.
That's true. I may fall out of this chair, but it's a short fall. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right then. So
All right. So what we read, and hopefully what Colette watched will pull in.
oh,
all
no,
of this.
I see that face. What?
You
What did you say what I watched?
Yeah, you
Uh-huh.
didn't watch The Haunting of Bly Manor?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
God
watch.
damn it, we talked about this.
We talked about this.
It has been a hectic holiday month.
All right, that's okay. That's all
Anyway,
right.
Yeah.
so we read Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I think it came out in 1898.
I think so.
There, you don't have to worry about spoilers.
I think it's okay. I think we're all right.
Yeah, we probably are.
I cracked myself up. Anyway,
I just looked on IMDb and it's, been made into a movie like 5 times already.
yeah. So when our last show, we talked about, well, I don't even know if we recorded it. We might have talked about it offline, but that the Turn of the Screw, I remember reading ages ago, and to know that The Haunting of Bly Manor pulls a lot of Henry James stories in, but if they're pulled in around, they revolve around Turn of the Screw.
Mm-hmm.
So that's and because it's older and it's kind of a ghost story, and well, it is.
I know.
Yeah, it is a ghost story. But so we thought, this would be fun. We can kind of juxtapose it with the Netflix show. Maybe not. Somebody didn't watch it.
I didn't realize that was part of the assignment. I thought I was just
Talked
supposed
about
to read
that
the book.
specifically. We're going to talk about. Oh,
You guys
It's
can still
fine.
talk about it. Sorry, I haven't seen it.
Maybe we can get Cheri to put a link to that YouTube video that summarizes it. The one I sent you a while back.
no.
The show.
There's a channel called Amanda the Jedi, and she reviewed.
Yeah, I remember this.
Right, she reviewed The Haunting of Bly Manor, and
Oh yeah.
Right.
I remember, yeah.
and she also did the Midnight Mass, but I don't think she might have done the most recent one.
Midnight Club.
Yeah, but I don't remember. But her reviews they're fun, and yeah, she's fun to watch.
Okay.
Maybe we can put a link in the description or something. Maybe so, if somebody wants to not watch the Netflix show, but kind of wants a really good recap, that might be a good way to go.
All right then. Okay, so do you want me to read the blurb?
Yes, please.
All right. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So this one is from a version at my library because the one on Goodreads I didn't like. One of the world's most famous intellectual ghost stories. The Turn of the Screw is a haunting tale of suspected supernatural possession. A governess at a country house claims that Miles and Flora, two orphan children in her care, are being controlled by spirits for some evil purpose. No one else can see the ghosts, and the children themselves are silent. Are they being dominated by spectral forces, or are they hiding something? Is the governess simply paranoid, or is there something else going on? With its ambiguous content and powerful narrative technique, the story challenges the listener to determine whether the unnamed governess is a reliable witness or a neurotic with an overheated imagination.
Yes.
The latter, yeah, for sure.
Totes. Totes my goats.
All right, so there we go. And then we had all agreed to also talk about the Haunting of Bly Manor, but
all right. So did this maybe happen after I had had a couple of drinks?
I think it did. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure of it.
So I'll just apologize. I don't remember that being part of this at all.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
we talked about it was on Netflix, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
and you
okay.
had Netflix, yeah.
I do have Netflix.
Yeah, we found that out last time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that hasn't changed.
Yep, there you go. All right. So,
okay, so let's start off with the thing that I am familiar with, which is the book. So let me just say, this begins like gangbusters. This was a great beginning, right? Because it's narrated by this fellow who's at a party and everybody's sharing ghost stories. And he's like, oh my God, I know this crazy ass ghost story that this woman I knew hand wrote, and it's in a desk back at my place. And I guess we could send one of the servants to go get it. But basically, it made me pee out of my balls. Right? And everybody's like, yeah. And they're all pulling up chairs and they're super jazzed. And the servant goes and gets the ghost story. And then we sit down and everything else is from the POV of this governess.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really... can I just, I have to, let's underline the word that you just used in that little blurb, ambiguity. Holy crap, what the hell was going on? What were these people doing? Nobody talked about anything. Like everybody's sitting there in a room staring at each other and nothing was said. But I knew there was a demon inside her urethra. I could smell it, but no one said anything. And then I got up and I left. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it was so frustrating. Frustrating. Like, and I looked at the little boy and I knew that he knew that I knew that he knew that I knew. But I didn't say anything. And I just ate my crumpet that I left. This is not a ghost story. This is a story about people who don't know how to communicate.
Ain't that the truth? The only saving grace was Emma Thompson's narration.
She was great.
She was great.
Awesome. She was awesome.
So not only do we have this ambiguous, shit going on, but also this is from, before the turn of the 20th century, and the language is not, easy.
A little flowery.
It's a 1898 British English, and so I did a lot of rewinding.
Me too.
Did you? Okay. I mean, I'm not stupid, but I can't. She talks really fast because she's excited. Right. The governess is always very excited and on the go.
Not excited.
She's very excited.
She can use some gummies.
Yeah, she could have used some gummies for
Yeah.
show.
At
Yes.
least.
So, and there's one point toward the end when shit is starting to really happen, and Emma Thompson is just like yelling, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was a lot. But no, she did a great job. And
She did.
the dude at the beginning who was narrating was Richard Armitage, who's also
Oh.
got a fantastic voice for audiobooks. He did I think it was some Charles Dickens one with some bells, the Carol of no, I don't remember what it's called. Christmas chimes, Christmas bell. I don't know, but he did another one that Amazon.
But not a Christmas Carol.
I don't believe he did a Christmas Carol. He did another Dickens one, and it was really good. I listened to it years ago. Audible used to give away every holiday season. They would give away a free.
They did.
A free holiday book. That's
They
how
did.
I
completely forgot about that.
Yep, that's how I think. Didn't there's a Christmas Carol that got given away. The bell one, the chimes, whatever the fuck. That one was a giveaway one. Yeah, they don't do that shit anymore.
Charles Dickens to have written a book called The Bell One, whatever the fuck.
The bell one, whatever.
There would be, of course, 2 volumes. The one could be the Bell one, and then volume 2 would be whatever the fuck.
Whatever the fuck. Yes. So yeah. So we've got. So we have the governess, and you're right. We don't know what her name is. I don't. Nope. That's right. We never did find out. Yeah, I did not realize that until it said unnamed governess. But yeah, so we've got the governess, then we've got Mrs. Groves, who's the housekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't seem real bright. I don't know. She just didn't seem real bright, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't strike me as slow. I don't really know what to make of her, right? Because I mean, I don't think that we get a real close sense of her. I did think it was odd how much touching and kissing
there's a lot of touching and kissing
did. Yeah. I guess that was the perk of being house staff.
I guess
you got to make out with all the rest of the house.
I guess
there was a lot of kissing but you know,
and I held her to my bosom, and
yeah.
I knew that she was a demon, but I didn't say anything. And I kissed her and left the room.
There's a lot of kissing before leaving. There's a lot of touching. I didn't expect
even with the
that.
Children.
Yeah, lots of kissing and touching with the children.
So the governess is brought in to watch this little girl. And then while she's there, her older brother is sent from boarding school because he's been expelled. And they don't, in true fashion for this book, they don't even explain. They're just like, he's not welcome back.
And nobody bothers to follow up.
Well, we mustn't ask because then we'd know something.
And Miles is perfect. Both of the children are perfect and beautiful and perfect and beautiful and beautiful and perfect. And we're told that repeatedly.
Yeah.
Perfectly splendid.
That's from the TV show.
Yeah, the thing you didn't watch.
Yeah, but we're okay with that. It's fine. We have all been to a point at the end of a show where we don't remember anything that happened. At one point or another, all of us have been there. Sometimes more than one at a time.
Ain't that true?
So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, but so then even at the end, when the governess confronts Miles, and it's, because she's been trying to figure out what it was he did that got him kicked out of school, and she's like, "Did you steal?" And he's like, "No, I just said things to people I liked."
I know. I just
And of course you wouldn't want to ask a follow-up question
No,
because
of course not.
apparently they don't do that in Britain, or
Well,
they didn't
not
do
to
that in the
children who are
19th
perfect
century.
and
So
beautiful. Yeah, if you're perfect and beautiful, you don't need follow-up questions.
I mean, so was that some sort of I mean, do we think that there was some sort of a gay thing happening with that little boy? I mean, he seemed very young.
I mean, I think maybe I've been influenced by the series because because in the book, yeah, I feel like it could just have all been her imagination
Yes.
to some point, but because I already had seen the show, and I read the book again, it was a while ago, and then I watched the show, didn't remember anything about the book. So reading the book now and having The Haunting of Bly Manor in my head, it was I was much more, I was kind of putting the two of them together. So for me, I was like, oh, well, he's possessed by Peter Quint and Flora's possessed by Miss Jessel.
Jessel.
Yeah.
The other governess. Yeah.
Right. Because that's what happens in the show.
Yeah.
And it's very, very clear. I mean, they have the characters standing side by side, you know, the adult with the child and all of that, and they go through it all.
It's not as clear in the beginning because
right.
You get hints about it, but then as the series goes on, you actually see.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, because they place the ghost next to the kid.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas in the book,
it's who the hell knows?
It's just randomly seeing people.
Mm-hmm.
The housekeeper says, "Oh, that's the last governess. She's dead now." You know, and other quips, pearls of wisdom. And then that weird cryptic thing about the male ghost that she sees, and she says, "Oh, that's Quint." I can't remember how she phrased it, but something along the lines of, it's not that he took liberties with the little boy, but that he was, how did she put it?
That he was too familiar, I think. Or no, it wasn't too familiar. It was I can't remember the word
that you really could read another way. But since no one in Britain knows how to ask a follow-up question, we'll just never know.
Yeah, I mean,
what that means.
If it was written that way in today's, you know, somebody reading that today with today's context, essentially it would have been Peter Quint was molesting this boy, but that's not the way that it was meant. It was all psychological and you know. You've got Miles and Flora who their parents have died. They have their uncle who hires this governess after the previous one died. Although we don't know that at the time, I don't believe that she died. And so she goes there and is just swept up by these beautiful perfect children. And a lot of the book is the governess and the housekeeper talking,
and that is as exciting as that made it sound. Every bit is exciting.
Watching paint dry.
It's I mean, this is a really short book, right? I think it's listening. It was under 5 hours for the audiobook. And it kind of gives you, you know, you can use your imagination and dream up whatever you want, but it really was kind of just like,
that bitch crazy.
That bitch is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
She had some issues.
Right, we get to the point where she's by the lake with the little girl and the housekeeper, and she's like, "There she is. There's the ghost of the dead governess, and everybody's like, what? Nobody sees anything.
Mm-mm.
Right. And then you're kind of left with the, oh, I understand. You are
Yeah.
a lunatic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, now at one point toward the end, Mrs. Gross says, "Oh yeah, I did see. I have now since."
Right.
Because
But
at first she's like, "I didn't see shit,"
right.
and then after she's like, "Oh yeah, but I did.
But you didn't, I mean, I
I
took,
didn't believe that she did."
yeah, I took that as I am placating you because I'm going to take this little girl and get the fuck out this house.
Get the hell out. Yeah.
You're a lunatic.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted that.
I like it.
Okay. See, I didn't get that. That Mrs. Gross is like, "You're crazy. I'm taking this kid and getting
Well,
the fuck
because she's
outta
like,
here."
oh, you must take the child. And she's
Yeah.
like, okay. Like,
Back away slowly.
yeah, and I totally saw that ghost by the lake, and I believe every word you say. And like left a road runner dust cloud in the air.
Pew!
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just beeped right on the fuck out of there. And then so we have like a last scene with the governess and Miles. And more ambiguity. Like we think we see the ghost of what's his name? Quint.
Yeah.
And then Miles dies.
Heart attack. Pow!
Right. I forgot about that.
What do you mean heart attack?
I'm putting that in. Just
because they don't explain anything.
Exactly.
His heart, or he just stops breathing, right? Or his heart
and
stops.
then he's dead. And then it's like the end.
The
right?
end.
So
Yep.
I mean, but at the
end.
time,
the end.
She is pulling him close to her. And how do we know that she didn't just asphyxiate him in her billowy?
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
Crazy.
Yeah, she is crazy, but yeah, that's a really. I didn't even, she could have.
I feel like maybe I need to revisit this whole thing.
Maybe that last chapter. Maybe go back and
right. Maybe.
So I feel like the main issue with this book is that we never got an epilogue where we went back to that party at the beginning, right? Where and then I closed the well-worn pages and I looked up at everyone and they cursed me and spat at me and said, "What was that dumb bullshit? Why didn't anybody just ask a question?" That is the scene that I wanted. And
I feel like maybe you should write that. That would be great. That could be like the topic of your last call. I want to go back to episode 172 and create the epilogue that was missing. I think that would be beautiful.
That would be perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
So, anything else you want to talk about with this one?
No, not with the book itself, but if you want to talk about Bly.
Well, so here's what I did. I went back and I rewatched The Haunting of Hill House because why wouldn't I when we just talked about that book. And I loved it. It was great. TJ initially was like, I really am not feeling watching this again. And then so I picked a day when she was playing on her iPad, doing whatever. I'm like, do you care what I watch? No. And then then she was in. So we finished that and then only finished it 2 days ago. So because you have to remember, I only have TV time when football's not on. So, that leaves out all day Sunday, Monday night, Thursday night. Yeah, so I have to plan it out. So I only got to start my rewatch of Bly on Friday. No, Wednesday night we watched the first 2 episodes, and then we have 3 left. So I haven't finished the rewatch of it, but
all right.
But I mostly remember all the stuff. So the show is so much better than the book.
For
That's
sure,
right.
there's really no ambiguity. I mean,
No,
there is in
no.
the very beginning because, you know, they don't want to show their hand right away, but
Right.
it's appropriate for how they're telling the story.
Yeah. So there is definitely no ambiguity. There are ghosts. Those
Mhm.
ghosts are fucking with the kids for
Yep.
their own reasons.
Yep.
You've got Peter Quint and Miss Jessel. Peter
And there
Quint,
was in the book there was a relationship between the two of them.
yes.
And is there a relationship between the two of them in the series?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I looked up. So now, Andy, you had said that the Haunting of Bly Manor is based on several
Several.
Henry James stories. So I did look that up, and now I thought I had it in my head that the sisters were the storyline with the two sisters from way back. For some reason, I thought that was part of Hill House with the two sisters.
Oh,
You
gotcha,
know,
gotcha.
but
Yeah.
it's not. It's based off
Mm-mm.
of a Henry James story,
It is, yes.
and that one is the
Something with
romance
old
of
clothes.
the
Yeah.
romance of certain old clothes.
Yeah.
With the sisters Viola and Perdita, and
Perdita.
then all right, Perdita, yes,
I mean, Perdita is a name.
No, but
Yeah.
that's how they pronounce it, Perdita, in the show.
oh, in the show,
How insufferable.
they're stupid. So, and then the other story is the Jolly Corner, and that one's a bit more subtle. So in the series, you've got several different story arcs going on. You've got the governess, who's a young American woman who has lost her fiance shortly before
He's
the
dead?
wedding. Huh?
He's dead? What do you mean lost?
He's dead. Yes,
Okay.
he's dead. She moves to England, and she had been a teacher of small kids, and she sees this ad for a governess, and she notices that it's been in the paper for like 6 months. And so she goes to the dude who happens to be the uncle,
Mhm.
and initially he's like not going to hire her. He's like, what's the catch? You're in your what, mid-20s, early 30s. You've got your whole life ahead of you. Why do you want to go live on
Why do
this?
you want to die in this house?
Well, why do you want to go live in this, old country manor house, secluded from everybody? And she's like, well, I could ask you the same thing. What's the catch? I noticed that this ad's been around for 6 months and you're not hiring anybody. What's wrong? What's going on? So eventually they work it out. She goes and that's where she meets Mrs. Gross, who is the housekeeper, but she's more than that in this story. She's got a much bigger role in this story.
And I'm glad that she did, because she was actually in the show one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, me too. And I don't want to give away spoilers for things that aren't obvious, but she's. It's well worth it, I think, to watch it twice.
Oh, yeah.
Because now this time that I'm watching it, I knew what the secrets were. I knew what the reveals were going to be. So I was able to see all of these little foreshadowing things that really I would not have picked up on at all.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on. I mean,
There is.
overtly and subtly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got Mrs. Gross, who's got her own thing going on. You've got a storyline with the parents. You've got there's a thing happening with the uncle, his brother, and the wife, the kid's parents. There's a storyline there.
So they're not dead?
Well, they go back so
Okay, so there's
you get.
flashbacks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The uncle has his own storyline, which ties into the Jolly Corner. Um, uh, I really don't like in Haunting of Hill House. I think Henry Thomas does a great job. I think it was
He
very well
did.
cast. For the British uncle, I don't care for him in that role very much. Whenever he speaks, I'm like, I feel like he's just an American trying to do a British accent. He just doesn't sound authentic to me, and it throws me off every time he opens
Yeah.
his mouth. Then you've got the romance between Peter Quint and Miss Jessel.
Mhm.
You've got drama surrounding the kids, Miles and Flora.
Mhm.
You've got some interesting story, plot lines with the cook, Omar. I think his name is Omar.
I don't
Um, yeah, or Owen. Owen. I think his name's
Owen, yeah, that's it.
Owen. Um, and his mom has dementia, and so he had trained in Paris to be a chef, but he had to come home, and so he works there too. Then you've got the gardener and the governess, their romance storyline, so you've got a little lesbian action going on.
Yeah.
um, there's a lot happening.
There is.
There's a
It's
lot happening.
very rich stories.
Yeah, and that's even before we even I'm on episode 7. There's 9 episodes in this particular series, and we
Mhm.
haven't even gotten to the sisters yet. I think they'll come in
No,
this
they're in
this
the
next.
last part. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a really interesting storyline
It
too.
was.
Yeah.
It was.
So there's a lot, and I think the cinematography is good.
Yeah.
The
That
acting is great.
yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I really
Yeah.
liked it. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it.
Yeah, so definitely, if you've got Netflix, watch both of them. They're both
Oh, yeah,
worthwhile.
for sure.
Um,
And
I
then we talked about it before, Mike's coming out with a new limited series based on Edgar Allan Poe's work, so
and he's talking about doing one from the Gunslinger, Stephen
Oh,
King's Gunslinger.
yeah, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, did you know that he did Doctor Sleep?
I do, yeah.
I
And I
did
think
not know that.
the visuals, it says a lot when you go back when you watch it the first time, it is riveting. I mean, you're sitting, you don't wanna, "Let me get up and get a Coke." No. You're
Yeah.
sitting there the whole time. But I don't think about, like, the cinematography or how they're shooting, the angles, any of that stuff. I just knew, yeah, it was engaging. I really liked it. But once I found out it was Flanagan's work, I went back and watched it again, and then I could see,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, that's him, right? But before that, I was just too engaged in the story and the acting and everything to
Yeah. It's really interesting, that I would watch anything that he does now because I enjoy the way that he does storytelling so
yeah,
much,
me too, actually. Yep.
and one of the other things that I really like is having many of the same actors in some or all of these shows. So in the Haunting of Hill House, you've got the twins, Nellie and Luke, and in Bly Manor, Nellie plays the one that played Nellie plays the governess,
Mhm.
and the man that plays Luke plays Peter Quint.
Mhm.
The dude that plays the cook, Owen, he is in both Midnight Mass. He's the sheriff in Midnight Mass, and he's also in the Midnight Club. The
Yeah.
woman that played Steve Crane's wife in
Oh, God.
Haunting of Hill House. She plays crazy religious
Oh my
lady
god,
in
she did
Midnight
such a good
Mass.
job. Oh my god,
I
such a
didn't realize it was the same person until
Woo!
I watched it again. I was like, oh my God, that's her. And then she's also in the Midnight Club.
Mhm.
Um, it's just a lot of and then of course Mike Flanagan's wife is in all of them.
Yeah.
I
No, was
think
she
she
not
wasn't
in
in
Midnight Club?
Midnight Club.
No.
Um, also she is super hot. Like
God dang.
her Theo, I just fuck.
I
Her
know.
Theo is hot.
Woo!
So
Mm.
on Shudder, on the streaming service Shudder, they have this 101 greatest horror moments, and both Katie Siegel and Mike Flanagan are there toward the later episodes to talk about various films and stuff.
Cool.
And the Bentneck lady from Haunting of Hill House is one of the moments
Yeah, that was
that's
super
that's
cool.
noted
Oh
in
my
there.
God. Were you like did you have to the first time you saw Hill House, did you have to like pause it and then rewind it when you saw the Bentneck lady going through all the different time phases?
No, I didn't
Ah,
pause it, but when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, there we go. I mean, it just gives you such a different perspective.
yeah, yeah.
So
Good stuff.
these are definitely binge-worthy shows.
Oh,
And
for
if
sure.
if you like the idea of the turn of the screw, definitely give Bly Manor a shot,
Oh, sure.
because
Yeah.
it takes, like when we talked about last episode, Colette, you had said, like there really wasn't enough of that story
Hmm.
to really give a fleshed out,
Yeah, that's right.
series. And Mike Flanagan does the same thing that he did with The Haunting of Hill House with The Turn of the Screw. He
Hmm.
fleshes it out and really gives you some meat on the bones of the characters and the
Yep.
story, and
Yep.
it's very engaging. And TJ cried a lot. But there's a lot of moving. There are a lot of moving scenes.
There are, but I don't think I cried at any of them.
But you're heartless, and TJ cries for everything. Everything.
And the story had zero sentimentality about anything.
Yeah,
It was very British and very proper, and which made, and that's when I hugged her and held her hand and kissed her. It was like, really? Because
no, I think there were tears definitely for Mrs. Gross.
That was sad.
And then when Owen's mom,
Yeah.
but TJ lost her dad to Alzheimer's, so I think there's
Oh, I see.
there's more of a tie-in there, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still sad,
Yeah.
because he's the sweetest man ever.
He is.
Yeah. So there you go. I think, for an Audible listen for 4.5 hours, if you feel like you want to, knock some classics off your to be read list, yeah, check it out. Emma Thompson did a great job. There's also a lot of different versions. Just saw one at my library with Simon Vance, who I really like as a narrator. So, you can pick it up literally anywhere. I think this one might be one that if I did read it again, I would read with my eyes, because of the language and how quickly it's narrated.
Mm-hmm.
I had a real hard time focusing and concentrating, and I blink and then I'm 2 pages and I'm done.
Like, what the hell happened? Probably
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
There was some kissing, some touching, and some no questions.
Yeah, it was just like a Journey song. There was some loving and some touching and some squeezing, and then the kid died.
And then
the end.
Aww. So next month we're rounding up onto to our Happy Christmas episode that we usually do.
Yeah,
but we've got some time. Are we thinking we should do, are we going back to murdery goodness, or should we do something more wholesome and uplifting?
This is good. These are good questions.
Let's see.
It wouldn't
You
be
don't
too
have an
long
answer.
though if you want to if you want to record the show before Christmas.
I don't know what any days are right now. Let me look at the calendar.
I think the weekend of the 17th is the last Saturday before Christmas.
Oh,
No, the 24th.
oh, we could do New Year's Eve.
What?
We could do New Year's Eve.
How do we get to New Year's Eve?
Well, those are all
Didn't we just
Saturdays.
say the 20th?
Oh, I see
Yeah,
what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see
there
what
are 5 Saturdays. So we could do the 17th, the 24th, or the 31st.
Good point.
Yeah, we could do a New Year's Eve thing.
Let's do New Year's Eve.
That'll break it up. Something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can just find dead people on New Year's stories.
I don't think we've done a New Year's story.
Because last year, didn't we do Christmas Carol?
We did.
Mm-hmm.
We did do Christmas Carol. So we need.
And that book is great.
It's
Great. And
Oh,
this book was not.
Which one was not?
The one we just read.
Oh.
So I was kind of hoping that it was going to be,
yeah,
a ghost story similar to A Christmas Carol, maybe without the arc of personal redemption. But I mean, Christmas Carol has sections that are genuinely frightening.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not frightened at any moment in this book.
No, I agree. Let me see. My dog's trying to get my attention. But I'm ignoring him because I don't like him.
Well, while you're looking, Colette, now that we've talked about the series, do you think you'll go back and watch it?
Yeah, probably.
Why?
Did you want to talk about it again next month?
No, but I will be interested in how you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I would definitely recommend anything else Mike Flanagan did. Honestly, Hill House was excellent. What was that? Midnight Club was like a young adult thing, really.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So like the Babysitters Club, but with dead people.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
Oh.
But it was okay. I wouldn't call it one of the better ones, but it had some moments in it. It did have some genuine moments where you're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? But I think the first episode, didn't it win some kind of Guinness Book of World Records for the most jump scares in, I forget, like a 15-minute period or some shit like that?
I do not know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won an award like something. Well, at least he got in the record books or something like that. I don't remember what the time period was, but yeah, I got old fast watching all them damn jump scares. There's like fucking 100 of them. And
which show is this?
5 seconds. Midnight Club.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember because I think you had mentioned that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a little over the top.
Guess I could look at my to be read pile. We don't have any people online right now.
Yeah, too bad.
That's okay.
Maybe we'll get some in the comments. You never know.
You never ever know.
You never know.
You never know. Let's see. What do I want to read?
Well, it looks like there's a bunch of spooky holiday things.
Want to read?
Well, we can.
Winter of the Witch.
Who?
Oh, part of a trilogy. Never mind.
Oh God, no. Let's not and say we did.
Well, and the best part is that it's the last part of a trilogy. So.
Oh. Okay.
What book was this?
It's called The Winter of the Witch.
Oh, is that the
by Catherine Arden?
Yeah, I've read did you read that trilogy?
No. That's
Oh,
why I didn't know it was part of a trilogy until I just opened it up.
I haven't read the third one yet, but I did read the first two. They're fantastic. They're great books. The first book is called the Nightingale and the Bear and the Nightingale. I actually even have it in hardcover.
Oh, wow.
It's so good. It's so good. It's
But you never read the third one?
I did not. I did not read the
Hmm.
third one. I got it as soon as it came out. Like I pre-ordered it. But it's set in Russia, and you've got a kick-ass young heroine. It's kind of like it's got a lot of Russian folklore in it.
Oh, huh.
It's so good. If you guys wanted to read it, I've got the audiobook from Audible. It's beautifully narrated.
Are we talking about the first book? Or are we
Yeah,
talking okay.
yeah, the first book.
I'm
It's-
assuming you wouldn't just want to do the third book.
no,
Okay.
no.
I don't know how entwined they are.
They're very entwined. It's a
Okay.
continuation of this girl's story. So definitely want to start with The Bear and the Nightingale. I know other people who have read it and loved it. I've never heard anything bad about it. I've actually suggested this one once before, and Andy made a face and said no. So if I can
now
get
she's on
right,
the gummy, so I think
Hey!
now is the time
Oh!
to ask.
so I would be really thrilled to read this book again. It's so good. So
Okay.
good. And it's wintry wonderland, and it's
Because Russia.
yay. So now my next goal is to get at some point over the next few years to have Geek Love. That one's going to be tough. That one's going to be a tough sell.
That's
really
a
is.
hard stop. I tried to read that one.
You
Oh.
did? Oh, fine. It's fine. But The Bear and the
I just
Nightingale.
remember you sending me that, and I looked it up, and I read the whole blurb, and then I started reading reviews, and I was like, this just sounds
It's
like
just
a root canal on paper.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting. It deals. I think one of the biggest things that it deals with that I really loved. It was so interesting to me is. So you've got this family of circus people who their father and mother bred them to be sideshow people. Like the mom was taking they fed her all of these weird drugs and shit. So you've got an albino hunchback dwarf who is the narrator of the story. Her brother was born with flippers.
This is the part that you love.
Well, no, I'm just kind of giving you the background of the kids. So I can't remember that guy. His name was Artie, and then you had Siamese conjoined twins who played piano, and they were really interesting. And then I believe that there was
cheating. Siamese twins that play piano feels like cheating.
Yeah, their whole story is really interesting. Iphigenia and Electra, and then I believe there was another son, but the biggest part of it was Artie, the flipper boy. He ends up running a cult of people who are like they do voluntary amputations.
This sounds like a story that was created through the use of Mad Libs.
It's very interesting. I loved it. I've only read it once. I'd love to read it again. Eventually I will. I bought the audiobook, I don't know, a couple of years ago, just hoping that I would, remembered to do it. But like most things I buy them because it's like, oh, I want to read that, and then it gets buried in a pile. So
My other buddy Mickey, she loves that book.
see,
Loves that book.
see,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm getting hit by her too. You need to read it. No, I don't. Because
All
I
right,
started reading it. No.
apparently
How
Mickey
far
and
did
I
you
just
get,
need to
Andy?
get it.
I want to say maybe the first chapter.
Oh,
Well, that's not very far. You gotta, and the mom. Did you get to the part where the dad is telling them the story of how the parents got together? He was
I tried this the first time you brought it up. What was that, like 5 years ago?
oh, at least, yeah. The mom was the circus geek. She would bite the heads off of chickens.
sure.
And then she had a lot of problems with her teeth
Like you
because
do.
because the
Because of
bones
the
would chip them
the
off.
chicken biting. Yeah,
It's a problem, but
sure.
it's just
You
so
know, I
interesting.
think they have a special toothpaste for that.
A what?
A special toothpaste for people who
Shut up.
Again, this is probably created from Mad Libs.
It's a fantastic book, and everybody should try to read it at least twice. You should try twice. You should try twice.
No,
Okay, so we're gonna do the Bear and the Nightingale.
Sure.
Oh yay!
And you said you've already got an audio copy. So.
I do. Yes, I do.
Cool.
I have the ebook and the audio.
Cool.
I had gotten it as an ARC through NetGalley,
Oh,
and then I waited so long, as I do with most of my advanced reader copies, that I bought the audiobook because it just was faster. Yeah,
That's scary.
yeah, it's
All right.
so good.
Well, how about we wish everybody happy holidays and, kind of round it up. We're getting close to 5 and getting close to admitting our secrets. So,
are we?
A what?
like that away. All right.
Yeah, you had too many gummies.
Yeah. So I guess our next show is going to be the very last day of this year. Is that what I understand? Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
Bear and the Nightingale is not on script, so.
Oh boy.
Okay, that's no problem. That's no problem. I got it. All right, so we'll see you around.
So Andy is already signing off.
I know Andy's like, I gotta go. It's fine. I gotta go. Take a look at the book group, and then we can discuss it as we read. There's a lot, so
Okay.
but it's fun and awesome. Okay, all right then.
All right.
Okay,
So long.
bye.